NewsNation political contributor Scott Bolden. Scott, good morning to you. My team and I, we were talking this morning, this is no longer just a war on some battlefield thousands of miles away. We now have ISIS-inspired attacks being planned out on our own soil. I mean, these guys in New York, to Marcus's reporting, wanted to kill more people than the Boston Marathon bombing. Midterms are 8 months away. You and I have talked before. Most people don't vote with foreign policy in mind. But I'm wondering if this is different now.
Well, they certainly will be different if there are more ISIS attacks, God forbid, or more terrorist attacks here on the home soil. You can almost anticipate that, given the uniqueness of this war of choice that the United States, as well as Israel, has taken upon itself. That's very disappointing, but very dangerous too. The American people need to understand, I don't think we're against war per se, but it's got to have a purpose, it's got to have a premise, and it's got to have a pathway to an end that we can appreciate being the strongest military power in the world. We don't have that. We have chaos. We have statements that are inconsistent with one another. We don't have a war resolution before the House and Senate. And so there's a lot of unreadiness, not only in the American political spectrum, but also unreadiness in connection to why we're there and where does this end. The White House has got to do a better job of explaining it, one, but look at the impact on the economy as well. You've got inflation, which could be even more because of this war. You certainly have oil prices and gas prices and stock prices that are inconsistent with one another. This is all driven by the White House. This isn't driven by some free market system.
And let me talk about further just about Democratic framing and messaging here. So far, party leaders like Hakeem Jeffries or Chuck Schumer have focused mainly on the processes, the legality of launching this strike, as opposed to whether the war is right or wrong. How do Democrats criticize the war while making crystal clear that they oppose the Iranian regime, the killing of its own people, more than 1,000 Americans, nuclear ambitions, et cetera? What does the messaging need to sound like? Because it's tricky for the party.
Well, two things can be true at the same time, Markie. And I think in this case, you have two things being true. Iran has always been a threat to America since the Ayatollah Khomeini took over in the 70s, I believe. And so we live with that threat, but they're not the only threat to America. We have a lot of enemies, if you will. But were they an immediate or imminent threat? And in my opinion, and a lot of other experts' opinion, they were not an immediate threat. And so we can be critical of a regime that is against America. At the same time, though, there are laws in place and a process in place upon which you go to war with another country, and you've got 60 days to come to the U.S. Congress to explain that. But politically, you've got to explain that to the American people. And remember, Donald Trump ran on not getting into these types of wars, and he's done just the opposite over the last year plus. And so the message from the Democrats, I think, they've got to walk and chew gum. They can be against Iranian terrorism and what that regime represents, but they also can demand that legally that they ought to be consulted, and the reason for us going against Iran right now has to be explained. Two things can be correct at the same time.
And quickly, before I let you go, we're expecting Pete Hegseth to start talking here in just about 30 minutes' time. I'm wondering if you have any expectations from him, especially after President Trump said this war will soon be over. But from the Pentagon, the last couple of pressers we've heard, the big wave is yet to come. We're going to strike even harder. Any expectations in your crystal ball for the next 30 minutes from Hegseth?
Listen, he's got one message and the White House has another. I think they're both sides. I think the Defense Department has to be frustrated with the president's inability to stay on message. I think you're going to hear more of the same from the Defense Secretary, that we're going full steam ahead. The worst is yet to come. These are our goals and objectives that could be very different from the messaging from the president.
We will take those comments live once the War Secretary starts speaking. Scott Bolden, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Great to see you this morning.
Have a great day.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.